It's the most beautiful aeroplane you'd ever seen. A powerful thing, but it behaved like a lady all through. The first time I climbed into a Spitfire, there was certainly a feeling of pride and also a little bit of worry that one had to perform. You could be quite fierce with it, putting on a lot of G, pulling out of a dive and so on, and you could turn very hard and fast without spinning. Had the most wonderful characteristics.
Bob Doe always said I was terrified. Now, he might have been, I don't know, but I tell you, you can't go up there and fight for your life if you're terrified. You can't do anything if you're terrified. You can't even go gardening if you're terrified. Apprehensive, yes, but on the other hand, quietly confident. I was, anyway, and in fact, if you missed a trip, you were very angry. It sounds strange, but in a way, people thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a very serious thing, I know, but you wouldn't have missed a trip. Not for the world.
I couldn't classify the battle as being horrible. It was intense. It was a great strain, but I felt really fortunate to be able to take part in it because I realized how important it was. And I was really proud, if you like, to be able to be there and do something about it instead of being on the sidelines. The Hurricane was a lovely aeroplane. Rugged, wide, stable undercarriage, particularly comfortable for rough ground, and it could take a lot of battle damage. Later, I was flying the Spitfire, which was a more delightful aeroplane to fly, but had its disadvantages with a narrow undercarriage, which made it a little unstable on the ground, and it wasn't such a good gun platform. Everybody knew Bob Doe was good. Even Bob Doe knew he was good. He was always in the thick of it somehow, but the two pilots I think a lot of us had more respect for than anybody else were Poles. Why we respected them was that when nobody else would fly, they wanted to. At Middle Wallop one day, it was a peace super, and over came a Jerry, and we didn't know whether he was going to just buzz off or drop something. These two Poles were out and into the cockpit, screaming and shouting at the CO to let them go. No, 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 he told them. But away and off they went into this fog. They were airborne and they disappeared. The CO was biting lumps out of everything. And then we heard this Jerry come over, and immediately behind it, two Spitfires, and they were both firing at it. There were bullets everywhere, you know, and they shot it down. And when they landed, were they in trouble? But that's why we liked them. The Poles were brilliant. I felt extremely happy to fly Spitfires. They were practically no vices, providing you observe all the rules. It was the fastest thing we'd ever flown. When you open up and then you reach practically a new level, just touching 300 miles an hour, then you feel so happy being able to fly. You flew like you were a part of that aircraft. I mean, whatever you do, the aircraft responds to your wishes. I was up at Desford, and war was declared halfway through our training. And even then, it didn't register. You know, England was a peaceful place. We were learning to fly, flying as God meant us to, with helmets, goggles, string bracing wires quivering. Lovely. War? What war? Well, I always consider the Hurricane as an old lady, but the Spitfire is a lovely young girl, you know. The pilot of the Junkers came to see me after the war. He said, "You shot my engine." And I said, "Yes, it was burning rather nicely, wasn't it?" And he said, "And you killed my gunner and my navigator." And I jumped out. And his daughter, who was with him, said, "Very wise, Papa." And he was great fun.